If you are trying to feed yourself and your family at the edge of starvation, there is not much time to think about philosophy. One must trust the wisdom of the heart and the intuition at times, because the brain will fail you. Do not try to explain the inexplainable, but do try to probe it.
Welcome, this is Rachel Chamness, your host of this channel, Sound Waves Heal, and this video is a spotlight for a master practitioner at Sound Waves Heal, who has completed most or all of my courses and is a master channel. You'll find a new video almost every Saturday of a practitioner or a current student, as it's my mission to empower and uplift my students.
Hi, this is April Lindevald. Most of you know me. I'm taking Rachel's current class in Trance Channeling 4th level. And as part of our homework assignments, we are learning to channel celebrities and past historical figures that everyone knows to see if we can tune into their energy and get any wisdom from them, or just information. So I am decided to do Plato, which is pretty far back, but that's a historical figure I've always been curious about, and I think is sort of linked into metaphysical thought a little bit. So I thought I would see if Plato would come through today and give us any insights at all. All right, here goes. It is interesting to be contacted in this manner after so many centuries have passed in your earthly timeline. I have actually been incarnate many, many times since the incarnation you wish to speak to of Plato, and yet my essence is the same throughout and always filled with a curiosity and a relic of remembrance from the days of Atlantis and Lemuria, where I have had also earlier incarnations and knowledge and initiations of greater things. Yes, the Greek time in which you know of my work, my philosophical writings and explorations, was a time of great civilization evolution. Greece was a center of civilization at the time and had mastered many of the basic necessities of building cities and providing for people's basic needs, and therefore there was more leisure and opportunity for some of us to explore more esoteric and abstract thought. And it was supported. There was an interest in art, and there was an interest in philosophy and thought, and these things were supported and even monetarily supported, so that one could be basically a career sculptor or a career philosopher or a career designer or a career musician, which is a thing which not all civilizations get to the point of having such things, such luxury. If you are trying to feed yourself and your family at the edge of starvation, there is not much time to think about philosophy. Also, we were thousands of years still removed from Atlantis, and yet still closer to it you are now, and therefore I believe that the personality in which I was Plato actually remembered. There was a vestige of memory of the golden ages of Atlantis and the ways of being connected to knowledge and wisdom and great connection with spirit and with technologies that are no longer known today. And so I believe that in much of my exploration, I was trying to access something deeper, a memory, a realization that was on a gut level of what metaphysics entailed, of how humanity came from source and what our purpose was and what our makeup was. And yet I was in a society which valued thought, very precise and disciplined thinking. And so my work was to build a bridge between my intuition that there was something greater than what we could see and feel around us and what my brain could conceive of. In other words, I was devising thought pathways and reasoning, very disciplined reasoning for explaining the ideas which had no words to explain them and to communicate them and teach them to others. In this, I was influenced by my famous teacher, Socrates, whose life was all about seeking truth and using empirical argument and discussion in order to eliminate untruths and come to the core of something which he believed would show truth. Truth is still an issue in your world now, I see, and methods of finding finding truth and of revealing truth and of discerning truth have not evolved very much since my time as Plato. And therefore, one lesson that I have learned after that lifetime was that one must trust the wisdom of the heart and the intuition at times, because the brain will fail you. Human beings can be disciplined thinkers, and it is useful to have a bright brain and a way to reason things through. It is very important. And yet, it can be led astray. It can be tricked. It can be fooled. Or you can have hubris and believe that you can reason and think and understand everything, when many things are beyond understanding. They are beyond comprehension at the level at which your brain functions at this time. And therefore, in spirit, I understand the things that I was trying to explain in a much different way, in a more holistic way. On earth, I am famous for having a metaphysical view of things which said that all of life is an illusion and all concrete things are illusions, and that these illusions are a poor copy of the beautiful versions of themselves in the ideal utopian world, which is eternal and which is a higher vibration. And so in explaining these things in a logical, reasonable way and having a theory or a philosophy about them, I was trying to put some sort of brain and intellectual construction upon the knowledge that there is a universe out there which is more beautiful, more vibrant, more filled with energy of source. And that it is true that this earth is a beautiful but less vibrant copy of such things. It is stepped down from the higher vibration of what is. When each of us, not just me, but when we all go to the place in between where we see what is really truly in the universe on a higher vibration that our light bodies can experience, we understand that everything we loved on the earth, everything we tasted and smelled, everything we enjoyed in music, everything we loved in color and in art and in construction and in the beautiful symmetry of architecture, the wonder of mathematics and of how beautiful and symmetrical and how things fit together so perfectly. All of that is a wonderful creation, but it is lower construction of what is already in the Creator's mind, which is shining for us in a higher octave when we are in our light bodies. Therefore, I say to you that the art of philosophy, it is hard to explain, but I have less exuberance about the art of philosophy than I did when I was Plato, because I see it as an imperfect way of trying to use a human brain to put words and descriptions and mathematics and explanations and apologies for things which do not have words or explanations or apologies or mathematical construction that is comprehensible to the human brain. And therefore, I encourage all of you to think as much as you possibly can and try to understand, but then to allow your souls, your inner beings, your heart's wisdom, your intuition, your imagination to conceive more colorfully, more imaginatively, more creatively, more inexpressively. Allow yourself to expand your vision into understandings which are innate and feeling and have no words and have no way to communicate except by experience. This is my guidance to you from a great many centuries away. As I say to you, do not try to explain the inexplainable, but do try to probe it and try to feel into it and try to be all that you are and open to the wonders and the mystery of it. Even as you raise your vibration and more of it penetrates into your very being and is integrated into your understanding innately. It was a pleasure to speak to you. I wish you all great wisdom on your journey to ascension.